Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. The last couple of episodes, we've been using a team featuring Coalossal and Virizion, and we're actually up against a rank 53 opponent today, so they're obviously top 100 on the ladder, pretty high up, and they've got a super interesting team of Noivern, Rhyperior, Vanilluxe, Urshifu, Dusclops, and the Dhelmise. Dhelmise is actually a really interesting pick. 2014 World Champion Sejong Park tweeted just a couple of days ago how he thought Dhelmise is a lot more viable now in the format, especially with the lack of all the strong Fire-type Pokemon previously, like Torkoal, like Incineroar, like Cinderace. So that's definitely cool to see. Noivern also offers a fast Tailwind option. It's really a consistent Tailwind option, especially because often players are opting to run a Focus Sash on it. So you have a hybrid between Trick Room and Tailwind right now on my opponent's team, and that's pretty scary. So let's see. How do we want to approach this? Ferrothorn could be solid here. I kind of like going with the Weavile and the Coalossal immediately. The only problem is if my opponent leads the Urshifu. Even if you lead Urshifu, though, is that really that bad? I'm not sure. So I want Weavile, I want Coalossal, and in the back, I'm thinking Ferrothorn and Virizion. Another approach I could go is like Coalossal under Trick Room. Maybe we want Primarina as one of the two. What does Ferrothorn offer? It's pretty consistent under Trick Room, I guess, but I'm bringing Virizion instead. I think it's probably better to bring Ferrothorn, but we don't get to use Virizion very much to begin with, so I wanted to feature that more. So let's just jump into today's episode. Of course, this is a rental team built by a player called Nash. You can find him linked in the description below. Check out the team. It's a rental team, and you can find an explore in the description below as well. Question of the day with us, basically about a week plus into Series 6. I'm curious what Pokemon and strategies we should try next. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you as always for watching Road to Ranked. I really do appreciate it. Noivern plus Rhyperior. Okay. I could just go Surf Max Overgrowth into Rhyperior. It's kind of tempting. Wait, how fast is Noivern again? I don't remember that off the top of my head. So let me just make sure it's not outspeeding our Weavile, because if so, then my opponent's just going to Tailwind like EQ turn 1. Yeah, Weavile outspeeds it. Okay. Could also even switch out into Virizion. But I think I'm content just going for Surf Overgrowth turn 1. Even if Tailwind goes up, that's not really that much of a threat. Rhyperior switches out, so it's not super surprising. Maybe Dhelmise? Okay, Dusclops coming out. But now it's like my opponent has two support-oriented Pokemon out on the field, right? So, like, Overgrowth is still going to chunk away as Double Frisk comes out in this battle. Oh. Oh, no. This thing has Hydro Pump, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. For some reason, I thought it did. Max Noivern. Well, I gotta say, I did not anticipate that at all. So I'm guessing it's just gonna go for a Max Wormwind. I feel like this is okay. Because next turn I can just go G-Max Vocalith into the Dusclops slot and Triple Axle into Noivern. And, yeah, I mean, one thing we learned previously with the Triple Axle is that it's 90% for each hit. And I think it doesn't tell you if you miss. At least that's what happened last time when we only got one hit off against the Flapple. Noivern doesn't have a ground type attacker. I'm like literally looking at its move pool right now, and I don't think it can one-shot the Coalossal, which is a big deal. Because as long as you don't one-shot us, then I can just Vocalith and Triple Axle next turn. So this works out decently, I would say. Obviously, it would have been better had I gone for like just a Vocalith there. Dusclops takes a hefty amount. That should be in KO range from a Vocalith this next turn. And I don't think Noivern's actually that big of a threat. I mean, I'm guessing Wormwind here. Or actually, it's the Airstream. Okay, that makes sense. Into Weavile. That's fine by me. Because I'm sashed. Obviously, you're faster than the Weavile now, which is interesting. So I'm curious if maybe I want to consider switching out here. It's Life Orb Noivern as well. Okay. Well, obviously, I want to go for the Vocalith here. Curious if there's any value in switching out Weavile here. Could go on in a Primarina, for example, but I feel like conserving Primarina for Noivern and Rhyperior in the late game is pretty solid. So I think we can just give up Weavile here. I'll go for Triple Axle onto the Noivern and just go for Vocalith into the Dusclops. I think this is solid. I mean, I obviously could have targeted Noivern here. It's good to know we're still faster, by the way. Okay, so we get the knockout on the Dusclops. That's important because I don't want Trick Room going up, mainly because Rhyperior under Trick Room still sounds kind of scary. So we get the knockout there. It's just going to be another Airstream, but now I have Rocks damage, and my opponent hasn't touched the Coalossal yet. And even if Noivern outspeeds Coalossal, like, is that really that much of a problem? I don't really think so. So I think now what we do is just bring in Primarina. Because we don't want Noivern to just max Airstream into the Virizion. That's going to really hurt us. And so this next turn I can, you know, consider going for the Vocalith into Noivern. Primarina is in a pretty good spot right now. You could bring out the Rhyperior, I guess, but like, it's actually gonna be Vanilluxe. Okay, I don't know. My opponent just I feel like they didn't have anything for Coalossal. So given this position, what do I want to go for? I think just Vocalith into the Noivern, and I mean Hydro Cannon. I wonder plus Rocks might just KO the Vanilluxe. So I think I'm just going to Hydro Cannon here and Vocalith. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot right now. I don't know. My opponent just doesn't have much super effective damage. Okay, they're going to go for the Max Guard. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's actually a really good play because then I can't attack with Primarina the subsequent turn. I'm going to just go for Freeze Drive, but that's fine. Okay. Hydro Cannon connects. Because here's the problem actually now. I don't have very consistent damage. Well, I still have Virizion in the back, right? So Virizion should be able to clean this one up. But I can't attack with Primarina this next turn, so I don't think that was actually worth it. I probably, if anything, should have gone, like, Flare. Well, actually, I wouldn't want to Flare there. Well, we do have Energy Ball, so maybe Flaring is actually fine. I mean, as long as Noivern faints, we win the game, right? So I'm thinking +2 Heat Wave, plus Life Orb, plus Hail, plus Rocks is enough to KO the Noivern. Yeah, we still have Virizion in the back. So that was a great Max Guard by my opponent last turn. And I probably wasn't worth it to just go for Hydro Cannon outright. I was thinking I could just pick up a double knockout and win the game there. But it's likely one of the two Pokemon are going to protect there, right? So I don't think that was a great play. We still have 2 turns of Rocks, though, I believe, which is good. Flaring would have been good, though, because it would have set up the Sun, so I could just Solar Beam into Rhyperior for a KO. Yeah, so obviously I can't... I think I have to Heat Wave. I mean, there's... Well, I could Protect here, actually. Protecting valuable? No, I think... Oh, here's the problem. They can just Tailwind now. And EQ. Right? Yeah. We should still be faster, though, with the Coalossal, I would assume. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how much Heat Wave does into Noivern. Oh, we get a burn on Rhyperior. That's huge. I mean, that's actually going to seal up the game, I think. But I don't think we needed it. Because Noivern was going to get KO'd anyway. So, like, basically what this would have come down to is Noivern taking Hail plus Rocks damage. I Protect. It takes another turn of Hail plus Rocks. So then it just faints. And then Rhyperior, even if you pick up a double KO here, I just bring in Virizion, Protect. And then I just Leaf Blade into Rhyperior. So I think we were fine anyway. But the burn just guarantees us the game now. Yeah. I'm just double checking that we have one more turn of Rocks. But I do think like we should have sealed this game up earlier. Like the turn I Hydro Cannon was kind of aggressive. Yeah, with one more turn of Vocalith, I think we were actually always fine here anyway. But the burn just makes it easier on our end, so I'm just going to Protect here. Unless Rhyperior had a way to one-shot Virizion. But Virizion's... Nah, I mean, you would need basically... What would you need? I don't think Fire Punch gets the one-hit KO, and I was just assuming it's also like weakness policy. It's not like it has a Life Orb or anything, right? Yeah. So definitely a lucky burn, but I think with Virizion in the back, we were actually fine one way or another. So interesting to go up against a Noivern. Haven't seen one of those in... Actually, I would say some players have used it this year. It's not like super meta standard, but yeah, I feel like my opponent just didn't have anything for Rhyperior. Or sorry, they didn't have anything for Coalossal. Like, Rhyperior was probably their best Coalossal answer, but they needed to get Trick Room up to threaten us. And with Primarina and Weezing in the back, you could see how much we cover Rhyperior, basically. So it's actually difficult for that Pokemon to thrive. Definitely was not expecting the max... yeah, we can actually check out the team. I'm really curious. Life Orb, Tailwind, Draco, Hurricane, Shadow Ball. Interesting. This was Choice Band Rhyperior. Okay, so because we had Weezing in the back, yeah, I think we're good. Because even if I don't get that burn, Heat Wave does enough damage where Rocks plus Hail, we just bring in Weezing, we protect, Noivern faints, Noivern's the only thing that can actually hit us, and then we just Leaf Blade to KO Rhyperior. So, yeah. That just confirms that we were good. I was thinking the one way maybe my opponent could win is if they had Fire Punch on the Rhyperior. That could give us some trouble. But because it was Choice Band, we were fine. I probably should have checked out the rest of the team, but really, really cool team. Because, yeah, like, you can use that Rhyperior basically both under Trick Room and Tailwind, especially if you give it just a little bit of speed investment. You can catch opponents off guard. But, yeah, there wasn't very much the pressure of the Coalossal, which was really good. And the lead was advantageous for us because my opponent basically committed the Dynamax to Noivern to knock out Weavile, right? Like, it's not like Coalossal took any damage, so it was never really an immediate threat of getting KO'd. But I still don't like my play that much because I think the Max Guard just freeze-dried turn was a great play on my opponent's end. And I feel like we pretty much had the game locked up once Dusclops went down, so we shouldn't have been in a position... Because, like, if we miss Heat Wave on Noivern, we actually probably lose the game. So I should have played a little bit more consistently where it's like, if I get the sun up, then I can just Solar Beam. So I think Max Flaring into the Vanilluxe and Moonblasting into Noivern would have been a more consistent play there. Because, yeah, Moonblast is a ton of damage anyway, plus you have the Rocks damage. So even though we end up with a win there, I don't think I played super well. And it was more the team that just kind of carried me to a win. Plus we obviously got a little lucky. Although, once again, yeah, I don't think the burn actually makes that much of a difference, or any of a difference, because we have Weezing in the back. However, it does go to say, like, if I brought Ferrothorn in the back instead of Weezing, for example, I guess Ferrothorn would have been fine, too, because we have so much bulk. We should just be able to take a Bandit EQ and retaliate back with the Power Whip. That's why these grass types are so important with this team. Last time, we led Weavile Coalossal before against Sableye Charizard, and it worked out okay. But I wonder if maxing Primarina here is a call. I don't mind going Weavile Coalossal again. Definitely want Primarina in the back. Probably Virizion, just because it outspeeds the Urshifu and the Duraludon. So the idea here is that we get as much mileage off with Max Coalossal and then just try to sweep with regular Virizion in the back. Once again, we can't really lead Weavile and Virizion here because my opponent has Charizard and Sableye. You can just go for like Quash Max Airstream, turn 1, or G Max Wildfire to KO us. Even with... So here's the problem. Last time we were in this situation, what happened? My opponent went for Quash and Max Quake onto Coalossal. Quash and Max Quake onto Coalossal. So I actually think it's fine to go for... Oh, actually, the Surfed ship damage might be enough where we knock ourselves out. But what I'm worried about is they go for Sunny Day, Max Quake immediately into Coalossal. Sunny Day, Max Quake. So it's like... I think you either Sunny Day, Max Quake into Coalossal here, or you just Quash Max Quake. And I'm afraid Surf does enough damage that puts me in KO range. I could always protect and switch out. I'm going for the Surf Volcalypt. This might not be the right play. They're not maxing Charizard. Okay, I'll take it then. Yeah, this works out then one way or another. Oh, unless you trick. Oh no. If they go for the big brain play and just trick an eject button onto us. Okay, they're just going for Quash. That's fine, because Charizard didn't max. Why didn't Charizard max? You're not going to KO with the Life Orb Scorching Sands here. Would have been better to target Sableye here then, just so that we don't get Quashed in the future. But honestly, just KOing Charizard I think is great for us. Because I think that's one of the more threatening things on my opponent's team. It could be Specs, but no, it doesn't look like it. Nope, yeah, it is Life Orb. Huh. Maybe they were thinking that was enough to KO. Like, they did end up going for the Quash play, though, which was well done on their end. However, I've enabled Coalossal now, and I get the Rocks up, which is... both of that is pretty good. We knock out Charizard, which is a pretty dang big threat, even though we have AV Primarina in the back. Like, max Overgrowths really hurt. So, I'll take it. I think that's a pretty favorable turn for us. It is going to be Urshifu coming out, so... let's see, do you have Aqua Jet? I can never tell the... yeah, it's Aqua. Or it's Water. We have Virizion in the back, though, right? Virizion should match up really, really well into Urshifu. So I think here I just want to max guard the Coalossal and go for a triple axle onto the Sableye. Because Urshifu should just faint. Oh, it's really interesting, too. They're going for Helping Hand. I feel like if you're Helping Handing, you must be targeting the Coalossal, right? But if they are, that's a really good turn for us. Yeah, they just went for Helping Hand Aqua Jet. Perfect, perfect. So we get another move out of Sableye as well. Do we just miss Triple Axle outright? Oh, that's bad. That's a little unfortunate, but it's okay. Yeah, no worries. Because the thing is, if we KO Sableye, we can also just go for late game beat up as well, which is pretty cool. I don't really need Coalossal at this point. It's done what it's done its job in just KOing Charizard and putting up pressure with rocks. So I'll just go for a Overgrowth into Urshifu and just the Triple Axle into Sableye. Hopefully Triple Axle plus Rocks KO Sableye. They're just going to go for Helping Hand again. Now I could have switched the Coalossal out, but I don't think it makes any sense to take chip damage with what I have in the back. Like, Coalossal has done its job here. Could have opted for a double Protect there maybe, but I think it's fine. Because now you give me a free switch into Primarina, which is great. Or Virizion. Okay, Triple Axle connects. First hit. Second hit. 3 hits. Nice. We KO Sableye. Okay, not bad. My opponent hasn't maxed. It's going to be Duraludon, Clefairy, Primarina. Or, sorry, not Primarina. Duraludon, Clefairy. I mean, this is why I brought Virizion, right? I think maybe we first go out into Primarina. Yeah, because if it's Duraludon in the back, for example, I'd want to chip away at it first. Okay. Oh, it's Tsareena. Well, we saw the other day that Triple Axle just destroys Tsareena. And we still have one more turn of Rocks damage as well. So, I think here I'm just going to Triple Axle into Tsareena. And Moonblast into Urshifu. I can see Urshifu protecting here. Even if you KO Primarina, though, like, Primarina is more important. Like, I don't think dealing with Urshifu is that much of a problem because I have Virizion. Although I think Tsareena maybe gets max Airstream. Triple Axle would be a 2-hit KO if you Dynamax the Tsareena here, which I think you should. However, what is potentially concerning is if you have max Airstream and you outspeed us afterwards. And we could also miss Triple Axle, which is scary. Yeah, so Tsareena's going to end up Dynamaxing. Today is an interesting day of Dynamaxes. Noivern, Tsareena. That's really cool. Let's see if we can hit the Triple Axles. That's going to be important. Okay, we do connect on the first one. Get another hit. Nice, 3 hits. That's huge. Okay, that's so much damage. It's going to be close combat. Yeah, onto Weavile. That's fine. That does put us in Aqua Jet KO range. So we might still end up losing here then. Let's see. Because Tsareena Overgrowth one-shots us probably, right? Oh, they go for Knuckle, though. Okay. I think that wins us the game. Here's the thing. I have not Leaf Blade. What was I gonna say? I have Bounce. Do I go for Bounce? No, I think that's silly, right? Because I can just close combat Moonblast into Tsareena. Even if you're Assault Vest, I'm pretty sure Moonblast is a 2-hit KO. And I get Rocks damage off here too. Not that it's much, but I'm pretty sure Moonblast would be a 2-hit KO here. The thing about Bounce is I have to risk missing. A Bounce would definitely KO from this range, regardless of whatever set you are, but I don't think it's worth risking a miss. We're faster with the Virizion, so the only way you'd win is if you had Airstream and you one-shot Primarina, so you can Airstream the subsequent turn. But I think close combating and moonblasting here is fine. Okay, Life Orb close combat. Life Orb close combat might just knock out. Yeah, nice. Oh, we get another crit there. I don't think that mattered, but let's double check. Virizion, max attack, Life Orb against Tsareena. Had like what, 30%? Close combat against max HP Tsareena with Life Orb does 20 or 30% to 35%. So I think that was actually going to knock out anyway. But even if it doesn't KO, the only thing I'd be worried about... Oh, we can actually check the spread here. Mentor, yeah, so Nightshade, which is interesting. Charizard with Scorching Sands. Classic Urshifu, Tsareena. What stats? 161 HP. So that wasn't even max HP. Does that have no HP investment? No, it has a little bit. That's enough. That's 161 or 108 EVs. Yeah, so I think close combat was actually just gonna finish it off there anyway. What's the item? It was Wide Lens too, so it wasn't even Assault Vest. I didn't have. You'd have to Hailstorm into Virizion, and then Primarina would just win. So yeah. Once again, it's always good to just like after a game, if you got any RNG, figure out whether it was RNG that like saved you, whether you needed it, or whether it maybe helped you but it wasn't necessary, or whether it was just like irrelevant. Because like it's really important to identify if you're ever winning games off any luck, and you know, ask yourself like, should I put myself in a position where I needed that, and if so, try to improve your play so that you don't need to rely on RNG to win. For example, even hitting any moves that are lower than 100% accuracy is like kind of like relying on good fortune to win, right? Or not relying on good fortune, but you need things to go right for you. And so like earlier, I put myself in a position where I don't really think I needed to rely on hitting a Heat Wave to win the game, right? But because I went for the silly play of going for Vocalith into Noivern and Hydro Cannon, then afterwards, if I missed the Heat Wave, I'd actually probably just lose that game outright. So that was a bad play, for example. And, well, it works out 90% of the time. If we miss that Heat Wave, that's super, super bad. And so I should have flipped it up where I go for Flare onto the Vanilluxe, Moonblast onto the Noivern. And that pretty much seals it up regardless of what happens, because I set up the Sun. Even if Vanilluxe protects there, what are you really doing to threaten me? And then I can Solar Beam into the Rhyperior in the late game. So, yeah. You can always see how like poorer play maybe puts you in a position where then maybe you need to rely on your non 100% accurate moves to hit or whatnot. So yeah, I think it's always good to just look back and ask yourself, did I need any luck, or did I play it fully correctly? This next one's gonna be a really shaky matchup because of the Weezing. Weezing shuts us down really hard actually. So I actually think because of Weezing, this is probably gonna be a Max Primarina kind of game. Weezing makes this really tricky. I'm leaning towards Weavile and Primarina as a lead. Weavile actually does decent damage with Beat Up and the other attacks that we have. And I could still go Coalossal Virizion in the back. These two Pokemon do decent damage anyway. If we knock out the Weezing, we could also just enable either. Because my opponent's goal is probably to lead in a way that they can just shut down my abilities. But if I don't need to rely on my abilities as a lead, I can kind of use them as a crutch in the late game. It's just dropping Ferrothorn might be questionable. Ferrothorn does look pretty solid against a lot of my opponent's Pokemon. So do I really need the Coalossal here? What does it help against? Mainly Chandelure, I guess, but my lead covers Chandelure. I'm going to go Double Grass here. Yeah. Mainly because if I knock out Chandelure and I get a single Iron Defense off with Ferrothorn, I think Ferrothorn just walls my opponent's entire team. Chandelure is the only thing that really threatens it with the 1-hit KO. You've got fighting type attacks from Tsareena and the... what else? The Sirfetch'd. Oh, I guess Sirfetch'd can crit through, so meh, that's a problem. Maybe Coalossal would have been better then. Weezing Duraludon. Okay, I don't mind this, but it's still potentially scary. I think we do have to max Primarina, though. If I could have it my way, I don't know. I think here, if I'm my opponent, I would max guard Weezing, or sorry, not max guard, protect Weezing, and just attack with Duraludon, maybe max Lightning or Steel Spike here. So, like, the play I want to go for is, like, fake out Geyser and a Weezing, just pick up a knockout onto that, or even Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is really interesting. Do I really even need my abilities, though, given what I brought in the back? Not really, right? Yeah, I don't think so, actually. So maybe we just go for triple Axle, Max, and just Starfall turn 1 onto Duraludon. Because it's not like I'm relying on Weezing or Coalossal in the late game anyway. Sorry, Virizion or Coalossal in the late game. They're not maxing Duraludon, which is interesting. Or it's just super slow Duraludon, but no, I think that's unlikely. Which I'm fine with. I mean, I think triple Axle plus the Starfall is just a KO, even if it's Assault Vest here. Weezing could max, which would be really interesting, but it doesn't. Neither Pokemon protect. Wow. Okay, that honestly did not play out the way I expected it to. Just Flash Cannon. Okay. I would have been really happy to see a Weezing protect there, but at least now it's like you can't max the Duraludon. It's Life Orb Duraludon. Interesting. So we get the KO. I end up wasting my max this first turn, but I think it's still worth it because I think it's likely Primarina is going to be a target. Unfortunately, though, Geyser would have finished off the Duraludon there because it's not AV and it didn't max, so then we could have set up the rain to just one-shot the Weezing the subsequent turn. Yeah, they're going to double up onto the Weavile. So that's a nice play on my opponent's end. I end up basically maxing Primarina to set up Misty Terrain. That being said, I don't really regret it. I think it's still fine. And I do am able to bring in Ferrothorn now. So, let's see what my opponent has in the back. It's going to be Tsareena. Oh, that's actually... Is this a problem? It might be. I'm definitely going to Iron Defense here. I actually wonder whether it might be worth it to go for a Max Strike. So then we outspeed the subsequent turn. Wow, another Tsareena. This is where losing Weavile is actually really bad. Yeah, I can see why my opponent prioritized it so much. Nicely done. Yeah, I think I want to Iron Defense, and I don't really need my abilities right now, honestly. So Iron Defense and Strike into Tsareena, because that's the threat right now. Weezing should be hard-walled by Ferrothorn, especially with Misty Terrain up. Although I guess you could just max Tsareena and then max Overgrowth. So if you have Will-O-Wisp on Weezing, that'd be a problem. I guess you're definitely going to have one of Will-O-Wisp per taunt, right? So because of that, it might have been better to attack. But what attack do I go for here? Body Press, maybe? Ideally, Weezing protects here, trying to eat up like a Max Geyser. But I don't think it will. He goes for Knuckle, though. Okay. It's a lot of damage, though. And it doesn't take Iron Barb's damage. Yeah, I like that play a lot on my opponent's end. Tsareena is definitely becoming more common. There was a really cool online grassroots tournament this last weekend featuring just a lot of awesome women in the community. And the winner, I believe, had a Tsareena on her team. Fiona, I think. Yeah, they had Taunt. So that's probably the team I actually want to feature next. Yeah, Taunt was too obvious. That was a bad play. Maybe it's still okay. Let's see. I want a Geyser into Weezing here. Is there any point in conserving Ferrothorn? Based off what my opponent has in the back, maybe. But a Knuckle's gonna destroy Virizion. I feel like Virizion's more important, so I guess just Body Press. Maybe double up on a Weezing. This Weezing hasn't protected once, which I was surprised by. That looks like Assault Vest Tsareena too to me. Okay, it doesn't protect again. I don't think this KOs though without the rain. Yeah, it has some special defense bulk. Yeah, that was a nice Knuckle then because you can chain that and then Overgrowth Primarina now. Yep, there's the Overgrowth. Let's see if it one-shots us. That is a 1-hit KO, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can deal with bulky waters in the format right now. Very cool. That will probably be game over then. Yeah, I was wondering why my opponent was trying to knock out Weavile so early on, but that's the answer because Weavile does 60-70%, with triple Axle into Tsareena. So I needed better answers against Tsareena, which would have meant Coalossal. Oh my goodness, that's pitiful damage. Would have meant Coalossal or the Coalossal or even Virizion, I guess. But the problem is if I lead Virizion, the Weezing Duraludon combo is pretty good. So, I mean, I can bring in Virizion now, and I can go for a bounce, and one way I could see us winning this is if my opponent messes up, and for some... You should always Knuckle, I think, into the Ferrothorn here, because you know you're taunted, I'm taunted, and you have the attack boost. So, I think my opponent should have this sealed up. I am taunted, right? Yeah, I'm still taunted. So, I mean, I can Power Whip the Weezing, and I think I have to go for a bounce here onto Tsareena. Because I can hope that my opponent messes up, targets the Virizion for some reason with Tsareena. I get the bounce up next turn, I just knock out Tsareena in one shot. A Power Up is a 2-hit KO onto Weezing, maybe, with Grassy Terrain. So, that's what I'm playing for right now. But, I think I definitely did not, not respect Tsareena enough, but it was just a big problem. What's the last one? It is Dracovish. So, we could actually win this if my opponent messed up and targeted Virizion here. But there's no reason to not Knuckle Ferrothorn here, in my opinion. Yeah, they went for the correct play. Well played. Do we survive? No, we don't. That is the power of Tsareena. Very impressive. One-shots the Primarina after an attack boost. One-shots Ferrothorn. Or not one-shots. 2-hit KOs Ferrothorn. I don't really regret the Pokemon choice. We just didn't get too much out of our Dynamax with Primarina. Like, the first max turn was basically wasted. Is there any way we can win this? No, not anymore. There's just too much damage from my opponent's end. I am curious if Life Orb Bounce KOs Tsareena. I honestly don't think so. Tsareena has 72 base HP, 98 base defense, based off what I'm seeing. So, actually, we could just count that right now. Because this is game over anyway. My opponent's going to win. So, it's good information for the future. Life Orb Bounce definitely does not KO. So, we actually didn't really have any outs. And that was just a really well-played Tsareena game plan. And what was tricky is basically, like, the two main things that enable this team, or the two main sweepers, are going to be the Virizion and the Coalossal. I actually... could I have led Coalossal? Yeah, I could have. If I led Coalossal, for example, based on what my opponent led, I could have just flared, like, Flare Axle. As we had misbounce. They locked themselves into the Psychic Fangs, so nice play. And Triple Axle is going to come out from Tsareena, and that's going to seal up the deal. Actually, just picking up a 2-hit KO. So, yeah, well played. Virizion's defense isn't incredible, so, yeah. I think I really like how my opponent played that game, honestly. I think playing to the Tsareena win con was really smart, and I think this is why Weezing... You know, we used Wolfie's Weezing team previously. Weezing is a lot stronger than it used to be because it's just a lot more difficult to knock out nowadays. So, a lot of the top Pokemon and strategies right now are kind of revolve around abilities to enable it. For example, so like being able to shut down both Justified and Steam Engine is such a big deal because it means that we can't get like the main mode of the team going. Now, I actually think, however, we could have maybe still led Weavile plus Coalossal. The only problem with Weavile Coalossal is that a Dracovish lead is really bad, but I guess a way we could actually get around Dracovish is because you're not going to max Dracovish, and even if you do, I don't actually think Geyser one-shots the Coalossal. Is we could have led Weavile plus Coalossal and say, even if I don't get the Steam Engine off, I can still activate Weakness Policy with Surf. Plus, I have Fake Out with Weavile turn 1. So given what my opponent ended up leading, for example, I could have just gone for a Fake Out Vocalith into the Weezing turn 1. I don't think that knocks out, but then you have Rocks damage, the subsequent turn, I don't know, Protect Coalossal. Like, the problem is that we didn't have any way to really deal damage with Tsareena. If we had max Hailstorm, maybe. But we don't have max Hailstorm. So I feel like my mind was revolved around the shutting down the Weezing. And like the lead was great, right? I didn't take much damage. I get a free knockout. But then Tsareena just comes in. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Because I don't have Weavile with Triple Axle either. So I needed to consider my opponent's win condition of Tsareena a little bit more and play around that. And I think they just executed their game plan super, super nicely. Yeah, now that I look at it, I think Dracovish was the one thing that was really, really threatening the Coalossal, so I think we actually could have brought Coalossal as a lead. They played around the Ferrothorn really nicely as well. I think the Knuckle play was super, super smart just to get boosted up. Taunt was really obvious, and that's maybe a reason why we shouldn't have just brought out the Ferrothorn in the first place. Like, even having Coalossal in the back at least can Heat Wave, which is more valuable. And maybe not leading Weavile. Another approach could have been to keep Weavile in the back, pick up a knockout onto Weezing, and then enable our strategies in the late game. But Weavile, a really, really good counter to a lot of the things that we were running here, and that's, once again, why it's kind of a top pick in the format right now. So, yeah, really nicely played by my opponent. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I really had a ton of fun with this team, and we had a solid record with it as well. I was able to break into the top 100 with it. So if you're looking for a fun team to play with that's also really strong, I'd honestly really recommend this team. So thanks again to Nash VGC for building it and for making it public. Thanks as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.